Either the rapture didn't happen, or we're all going to hell. Put your hands over your nose, try to ignore that burning smell.
Hello, friends. My name is Dan Brown. My pronouns are he, him, and I am running Rising Tide for the Gauntlet gaming community. Rising Tide is a Paragon playset of my own design. It deals with direct action eco activists in a near future. I am using 3 safety tools. I will go through those now very quickly. The players and I went through them in our first session. Those safety tools are open table. Anyone can walk away at any time. If you all can set my expectations about when or if you might be back, that would be great, but it is not necessary. The second safety tool that we are using is X card. This is built into our dice roller, and or you can say X card, or you can type an X into the chat, or you can hold your hands up. Anything that you want to do to just stop play, rewind a bit, and restart, that would be great. And then the last is lines and veils. We have a safety and resources tab in our spreadsheet. We've identified a handful of lines, handful of veils. Lines are topics that we will not incorporate. Veils are things that we might mention, but we won't go into great detail. And those are our 3 safety tools. Friends, do you have any questions or concerns about any of those? Fantastic. I'm going to then ask the players to introduce themselves and then introduce their characters. I'm going to go in character keeper order, which means Shane, you are first.
Hi, my name's Shane. I use she and her pronouns. I've been playing on the Gauntlet for just over a year now. And my character in this game is Cara Rossi. Cara was an environmental lawyer for quite a long time. She won some important victories in the courtroom, but ultimately realized that the law was not enough to save the planet. And so she has taken to bodybuilding and wielding a gun as her new strategy.
Thank you. That was awesome. And Harry, you're next.
My name's Harry, running a character named Greg Winslow. Both use he, him pronouns. Greg's kind of a curmudgeon of a guy. He's an IT guy, used to work for ExxonMobil. He used to make fun of his daughter for her environmental causes and stuff, but after she died from leukemia, he kind of overcorrected the other way, and now is going out of his way to make life horrible for those who would do bad things to the earth.
Fantastic. Thank you, Harry. And Mark, you're up.
Hi, I'm Mark. I use pronouns he, him. I am playing Jackson Rodriguez, who also uses he, him. Jackson falls in line with the rest of the characters in this run of Rising Tide in that he is doing penance for the earlier portion of his life when he was a lab researcher and a medical researcher, involved in some things that were that were a little more unsavory than he probably wants to admit to. So he's trying to make up for lost decades of that. And so he is here aboard the ship that we named the...
You're so close. You've got the first word. Morrigan. Yeah.
See, I had these notes. I swear I don't know where these notes are. Anyway. So yes, however, right now, unfortunately, we are grounded. We are no longer on board the Morrigan.
No. Actually, why don't you start there? What highlights previously on Rising Tide? What any highlights from last time, Mark?
I think previously on Rising Tide, we see shots of the team driving across the open desert, and they are in a couple of panel vans when 2 armored vehicles, the local militia, the People's
Justice,
are trying to intercept us, and the first cut that we see is Kara Rossi leaping from the back of the van onto the thank you, onto the hood of one of the armored vehicles in TJ Hooker style, riding the hood. And then somebody else could take it away here.
Harry, what do you want to highlight from last time?
It's your probably a bunch of action scenes of Kara making quick work of the people in the van. You hear Jackson's voice loudly over the comms as he's doing his best to try and get them to veer off and break contact. And then you see a shaky Greg Winslow with a smoking gun after he's fired it to kill one of them that didn't go fully down.
Fantastic. And Shane, where did everything end up? Where did we land last time? Do you recall?
I mean, what I recall is that we had kind of subdued most of the attackers. And we'd identified that, as well as the sort of local militants, there was a questionable sort of shady corporate type or someone that we didn't expect to see in this sort of environment in the car with them.
And I think we had the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And Kara is quite shaken that she had to rely on Greg to save her.
Actually, can we start there? What does that conversation between you two look like? What does Kara say to Greg?
So Kara like heads back to the van. I guess she's, cleaning her gun after seeing some use. Scrupulously avoiding eye contact with Greg and just looking down, very absorbed in what she's doing. And she, if she realizes that you're nearby, she'll say, nice shot.
You see Greg's hands are kind of shaking as he's just sitting over by the vehicle, and he's like, I think you lucked out on that one. And then you see him, lean over and empty his stomach on the side of the road. He's never shot a guy before, so.
What is, if you're okay sharing, maybe what is Greg's kind of besides getting sick? Is he like, I guess I'm all in now? Is he like, oh, this is not for me? Where's he at, would you say?
I think it's a combination of the adrenaline of the life or death situation that we probably just were in. He's probably questioning his choices pretty much at this point. He's probably starting to think maybe I have to find a way to get out of this, and I don't know, maybe I'll just have to collect myself and get back on the right track or something, but maybe this isn't the way that I'm supposed to be going.
I'm also sort of imagining there's like, wow, this doesn't feel like paintball. Like there's just sort of like this kind of like realization that paintball is nothing like what this actually was.
Yeah. No, blood is nowhere near as bad as or no, blood is way worse than the paint stains.
I think we decided that the executive was kind of biopharma executive, rather than sort of Exxon or oil or fossil fuels at all. So Jackson, by the way, the cast of actors that we have chosen to represent our characters is just top shelf. So Jackson, I wonder if you recognize this person. Is this someone that you worked with? Is this someone that you were adjacent to because you were in the same industry? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is a person from a rival company, actually. That in those days, 10 years ago, the last time he saw this person, actually, the company that he was working for was publicly making a stand against the kind of testing that that Jackson was involved in.
Okay.
So it's kind of a weird turnaround. And I guess the question is, why is he here? What has he gotten himself involved in now?
Right. I just want to make sure everyone is okay with the kind of animal testing backstory in Jackson. Is that all right with everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So what is your first, I mean, your team has control of the situation. I think maybe there's one People's Justice person left conscious, and or alive, and then this executive in the armored car. So, Jackson, what's your kind of immediate reaction when you see this executive? And maybe we should come up with a name.
Yeah.
Him.
How about Gavin? Is Gavin okay with everyone?
Any Californians? Okay. Gavin is the last name or the first name?
Gavin is the first name.
Okay. Also, wasn't the CEO guy in Silicon Valley, that TV show?
Yeah. Now I'm thinking Gavin Newsom, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Gavin Belson.
Right.
Gavin Belson was the guy in Silicon Valley.
Ooh,
all right, let's not have him be Gavin, because now that's too close.
Just get that actor. Here, I will. You start talking. What is your immediate reaction when you see this person? And I will find a name.
So I think that I will approach him and I say, I don't know if you remember me. I'm Jackson Rodriguez. What in the hell are you doing out here?
That is a great question. We have, and my assumption is that we are that this person is aligned with People's Justice for some reason, that we decided that the efforts to plant the forests were somehow impinged. Okay. It is a strange time, Rodriguez, and strange times make for strange bedfellows. So we found our interests align with People's Justice.
Let's see.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to help the local people who need help defending against the people who are interfering with the UN Chambers. Nice. Defending against the actions that are being taken by People's Justice. Your folks are tearing down these trees that are being planted that could save this whole area from the encroachment of the desert.
As usual, Rodriguez, you and your cohort have a naive view of what is happening here. We're not tearing anything down. We just want to make sure that the funding is being put to the proper use. Are you letting me go? What's the deal here?
Greg's gonna come over while they're finishing up this part of the conversation, and he's gonna just immediately, kind of push the guy back towards the vehicle and start patting him down for like weapons and a cell phone, see if he has anything like that on him.
You're doing this to the executive.
To the executive guy, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe in the car you see his laptop is in there, and it's got a sat phone connector thing, and he's got a cell phone on.
So, I'll confiscate the electronics and take them back to our vehicle and start going through them, because there'll be something for Greg to work on while his adrenaline's still killing him.
He's trying to bring him down.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And what's Shane? What's Kara doing during all of this?
So I think at first, like, she's got an eye on Greg, like trying to decide if she should try and talk to him about how he's feeling. they're not very comfortable with that sort of emotional conversation. So when she sees that he's found a computer to play with, she's very happy, very relieved to just let him go do that. And she's just going to like patiently and methodically disarm the unconscious members of the group as well as
nice. Okay.
the unconscious one. Also looking for things like cell phones or anything else that, might be of use.
Okay. Is your as a group, what do you all think? Are you going to kind of tie these folks up and take them with you? Or are you going to leave them here in the desert as you head toward the village? Do you have any questions for the people, the still conscious People's Justice person?
Yeah, I'll like walk over to Jackson and find out what the executive's been saying to, compare their stories, and then sort of walk back over to where this person has remained conscious. And I guess to start by asking their name. Sorry, I know this was the hardest part of the last interrogation.
Yeah, you're talking about the People's Justice person?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to call them, they all have these code names. So I'm going to come up with a code name for them. And they are going to be known as... I got it's coming. I use my dictionary at work, so it is on another screen. All right, here we go. I got it. It's coming. Oh yeah. They're going to be known as Desert Virtue. That's what we'll do.
All right.
So they just give you their code name, Desert Virtue.
All right. I'll roll my eyes a little, but that's okay. I didn't really care what his name was. And I just want to ask him about the executive. Like, why is that guy with you?
Oh, interesting. I think he gives you the impression that he doesn't really know, but the assumption is that he provides the money. That's all this guy really knows. This is not one of the main it's not the central unit of the People's Justice, right? We're going to save that for the big finish. So,
and I guess the other thing I want to ask him is, if we were to leave them here without their vehicle, would they be able to get back to wherever they've come from?
Oh, Desert Virtue is like, don't bring me to the village. They will kill me because I've been captured by you. So he's sort of afraid of the shame.
What do you think we should do with you?
Leave me here. I will find my way.
And these others as well? And kind of gesture to the unconscious members of the group.
When they wake, we can make our way back.
All right, I relay that to the other two, and probably recommend that we just leave them here. Like, we can confiscate their vehicle, their weapons, their electronics, but I don't see any reason to kill these people.
If I recall correctly, are all four vehicles, you had 2 vans and 2 armored trucks, they're all still operational unless you did something to them.
We could take the distributor caps out of the 2 armored vehicles, and they won't be able to replace that anytime soon.
Sounds good.
And if I remember correctly, I think Matthew's character shot out the tires of one of the armored vehicles. Yeah.
I'm all for taking one of the armored vehicles with us. That seems like an upgrade from a van. unless it has like garish People's Justice logos on the side that we might need to cover up.
I think it'll help you blend in, that's for sure. But I think these were just sort of commandeered by the local army militia. So, all right. So my understanding is you're taking the executive with you. You're leaving the People's Justice folks there with one working van, and you all are taking the armored vehicle all the way to the village. Is that right?
Yeah, and I want to give like a pretty harsh warning that if I see them again, I'm going to kill them all.
I think they believe you.
And yeah, I'm just gonna. I want to make sure that they have to get back on foot. I want to take the distributor cap of the one working vehicle or whatever, so that they can't use it. Let Mother Nature be the judge of these men.
Render her justice.
Yeah.
It's possible that they will die because of that, because you traveled at least a couple hundred kilometers so far. So is everyone okay with letting these folks potentially die? I mean, maybe there's another village along the way.
They tried to kill us. I given them a shot at survival. I'm okay with that.
Alrighty. So I think we're going to work our way up to the next contest here as we transition out of here. The next encounter is meant to happen in the village itself. So we're sort of fast forwarding to the village. But let me ask before we do that, is there anything that you all want to do, talk to each other about, or talk to you in Chambers about?
I probably want to talk to Jackson about why we're keeping this guy alive. What do we think we're going to get out of that?
Well, hopefully some information. I'd like to be able to get some more information out of him. In addition to that, I don't know, he's leverage. He's valuable to his company. Who knows what they're willing to give up to get him back.
I guess I'll take that back to Ewan, like having let him overhear this conversation and say, you hear that? You better hope that your company is willing to give up something valuable for your life.
Nice. And he is a jerk. So he is like, well, we'll see how this plays out when we get to the village.
If there's anything you want to tell me, you should tell me now, because if anything happens, I'm going to shoot you first.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I wonder if this is a contest to try and get information out of Chambers. Should we play it like a contest? Let's give it a shot.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So, Kara, you're threatening him. What's Greg doing in all this?
He's been really focused on the satellite phone link between the computer that he has and everything.
That's awesome.
And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just going through the history, browser history, everything like that, and see if I can find anything useful to use as leverage against this guy in the interrogation.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Jackson?
Well, Jackson realizes that he's got, maybe this has been the way things have been for a while on board the ship, but that Kara is an excellent attack dog. So while Kara presents the extremely harmful bad cop, I think Jackson's going to be the reasonable cop, and he's trying to make some connection with him based like on a professional level.
Perfect. That's so great. So you all have made this fascinatingly challenging for me because I don't have dice for this jerk. So I'm going to make this up as I go along. Oh, thank you for coming up with a picture for you in Chambers. What's that guy's name?
Stellan Skarsgård.
Right. A very nice man, but also really good at playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the NPCs tab, Shane and Greg, by the way. And Mark provided Skarsgård for us. All right, I'm going to our dice roller. And I'm going to say he's going to get a couple of D10s and a D8. So as a reminder, I roll a bunch of dice. I take the highest roll. I add 5 to it. That's just how the game works. And that is the difficulty score that you are going to beat. I rolled 2 6s and a 1, so the difficulty score is 11. So that is what you are all trying to beat. I am happy to kind of walk through building the dice pool. As a reminder, we kind of go through each of us, build the dice pool. You click on the dice in the dice roller, but you don't roll. And then we make one final call. The other thing I'm going to ask, we didn't do this last time, but the other thing I'm going to ask is, do you want your complications to come into play here? So what a complication is let's say, Shane, you've got holds grudge, or Kara has hold grudge. So she might, if you sort of want to add this to the story, I get to roll a die, another die, to see if maybe I'll roll higher, and you'll get some bonus experience points, or what do I call them here? Duty points for that. So I'll go in character keeper order. Shane, do you want to add your complication to this?
Probably not. I don't really see it working in the narrative at this point, so I'll leave that for later.
Okay. Harry, do you want Greg's complication to enter?
Yeah, I don't think his heartbreak over his daughter is gonna, fit in this scenario right now.
Understood. And Jackson, how are you feeling about this?
Hi, Dan. I would like to. I would like to include mine. It seems like it fits. Haunted by past. This is his past getting right up in Jackson's face. I feel like so that makes sense.
Totally. Like I mean, this I feel like is you're being sort of confronted with almost a mirror image of yourself.
Yeah. And
like this is what you could have been, and so you're seeing the what if life choices in front of you. Yeah. Fantastic. Do you want me to roll a D8, a D10, or a D12?
And this represents the level of.
So if you say a D8, then you add 6 points of duty.
Right.
If I get a D10, you would do 8 points of duty. That kind of thing.
Let's do 8.
All right. So I will roll another D10, and you get to add 8 points. So you go. So right now we're at 11. Friends, I rolled a 10. So you are now trying to beat a 15. This is interrogating.
You guys are all welcome.
This is we should talk about how we feel about this mechanic.
So this D10 replaces the
6 that I rolled before.
The 6 that you rolled before. Okay, because it's still adding 5 to it. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So now you're trying to beat a 15. Recall that most of you are going to be rolling D6s, and you cannot beat a 15 on just 2 D6s. So that might affect your choices here. So Shane, do you mind if I start with you in terms of building the dice pool?
Yeah, of course.
So we always add the name die. That's a function die. That's a D6. We evaluate whether your value die is relevant here. What do you think?
Yeah, like this guy represents all the forces of injustice that I stand against.
100%. So that's 2d6. Oh, I forgot to call it. I was going to make this a politics and communication challenge, if that's okay with, unless anyone has any strenuous objections. So that would be a third d6. Now, Shane, you have some choices to make. You can spend one of your strengths to add a d4 to the pool.
See, I'm tempted because, like, obviously I can't win otherwise, but it just seems like the odds are still so stacked against me that it's not a really useful use of one of them.
Right.
Yeah. So, hang on. I want to have at least a chance of getting it. So I'm gonna spend my maybe my law background strength, because like she's on some level it's about questioning and things like that.
Yep.
All right, and it's 1d4.
So now you can also spend your asset to add.
I've already spent my asset.
Oh, that's why it's marked.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm following. You can spend a bond to add another d6 to the pool.
Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll spend. Oh, wait. Yeah, oh no, I don't have a bond with Jackson, which would have made sense to me in this scene, so I won't spend a bond.
I mean, you can spend the Oscar bond. I mean, he's there presumably, but up to you.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with this, I think.
Okay, and then the last choice that you can make is whether to mark stress to add a d8 to your pool.
Oh, hell yes. Yeah.
So if you mark a stress, you can now add a d8. So I've got 3d6, a d8, and a d4.
Yeah. All right, and I'm ready to roll, right?
Yeah, I'm going to hold off rolling.
Okay, sure.
And then we'll let everyone else build theirs.
Okay, of course.
So Harry, obviously you get your function die.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your value die?
Yeah, it's revenge. This guy is another corporate, stooge. So any time I can, screw somebody like that over, I'll take it. So I think revenge should go into it. So
Totally.
That's 2d6, and then it's politics and communications for a third d6.
Yep.
Let's see here. Can I spend 1 point of my background as an IT guy to represent him going to the computer to try and get something on him?
Yes, perfect. Yep.
Okay, so that's a
D4. Yep.
And
so now you apparently won the last contest. So you have a momentum die that you can spend. You can spend it getting a D6 to your pool, or hold on to it. If you win again, you'll then have a D8 momentum that you can use.
I'm going to hold on to it just in case it's, I can use it on a further contest down the road.
When that's not a 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can.
I will mark a stress. Let's see here. Stress. That'll be my second dot. That adds a D8.
Right.
Okay. And I do have a bond with Jackson. Again, can I spend one of those for?
Yes.
And that's a D6.
Another D6. Yeah.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 D6, a D8, and a D4.
Yeah. The only other thing I would ask is, I mean, you've got the signal jammer, but I don't feel like that's particularly relevant.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, cool. Mark, you are up.
So I'll take the D6 for science. That seems reasonable. Natural world does not seem reasonable in this case to me.
I mean, it's a value. You can make the case that you are protecting the natural world and this person has betrayed the natural world.
I'll do that. And then the D6 for politics and communication.
Yep.
I'm going to spend a strength, a lab researcher, just to bring that kind of knowledge into it.
Great.
That's worth another. Yeah, that's the D4.
That's a D4. Yep.
Okay. I don't have any momentum. I don't have an asset that's applicable. I am going to spend a bond with Kara though, because I'm playing good cop, bad cop with her.
Perfect.
That's that bond is worth a d6.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to spend a stress to bring in science and technology for the d8.
Perfect.
I guess that's it, huh?
Surprisingly, we're at 46, a D8 and a D4.
Quick question. Can we add assets? I know we had 3 positions for assets and we kind of like jotted one down. Was your plan for that to have multiple assets?
I think, the idea is that you might pick stuff up
Okay.
during through the fiction.
Yeah,
So,
makes sense. Perfect.
let's resolve this one.
Yep.
And the one thing I've been really bad at is, according to the Aegon rules, if you have fictional advantages, we may just award you an advantage die, which could be, the size is relative to the scale of the advantage. So, for example, I don't know, Harry, maybe we add a D8 to your pool because you're using his, you've got a couple of pieces of his equipment there, right? Gives you some kind of advantage to learn about him. And Jackson, I see maybe you've got a history with this person. So does that give you some kind of advantage? The rules are pretty ambiguous.
Do they go D4, D6, D8? I can't remember.
It's D68, D10.
Okay.
So I'd be, given that this is of difficulty 15, I'd be okay with at least Greg and Jackson adding a D8 to their pools. Kara, do you feel like you have a fictional advantage?
I mean, I guess it depends how scared he is of me. Like, if he seems like a cowardly corporate type, then I could see that being an advantage. But if he feels like if he seems more like smug and overconfident, then maybe
yeah. I think he's definitely, that's how we've been playing him. So yeah, I think your brawn doesn't give him, and it doesn't give you any advantage.
That seems reasonable.
So, all right. So if we are ready to roll, and you can hit roll, and we will see. Remember, we're adding up the 2 highest ones plus the D4.
It's a 9 for me.
I believe I got a 15.
Okay, so you got a 15. All right, then.
You did, yeah. Look at that. Oh, you did great. All right, so I'm seeing. Right, I got to write this crap down. Gosh, stupid game.
Yeah, I think
All right.
I think I have a 15 as well.
Yeah, that's what I see as well, Harry.
Yep. And Mark. The dice roller. I wish I could click on it on your name, on your roll, and see what the breakdown is. But
yeah, it should do that.
So my read of this is that bad cop did not work, but good cop worked pretty well. So the way this game works is whoever rolled the lowest starts the narration, and then we sort of work up. So my thought is we'll just go in character keeper order. So we'll do Shane, then Harry, then Mark. Is that all right? So what does this look like? You're brandishing your on to this person.
So I look him dead in the eye as I say, I'll shoot you first, and think that he is going to crumble because who is this guy? But he just meets my gaze, and there's this moment of us staring into each other's eyes, and Kara is surprised to realize that he's not going to go for it, and she, quite in a moment of significant embarrassment, just looks away herself, and then, climbs back into the back of the van to find something, or to have a pretext to get away from the situation.
If I may add something to that, because I sense Kara, she was a courtroom lawyer, right? And she argued cases. And I think a good lawyer, knows when they can't win. And so maybe it's not so much embarrassment as it is, this is not my fight to win. I just feel like that maybe a little bit more in character. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think I think she is embarrassed, but okay. I think there's definitely an element of she thought that she had made the right decision in turning to violence as a way to resolve, to protect the earth. But maybe has this dawning realization that some of her skills as a litigator are still valuable.
I love that. That's fantastic. Thank you for building on that. That was great. I think, as if I remember correctly, since you suffered, in the words of Aegon, you only get one duty point. So you can bump yours up to 11.
Just to clarify, I think that last time when we did this, everybody got the base duty.
If they succeeded. If they succeeded.
Only if you succeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the differences with Aegon. Aegon, if you succeed, only if you roll best, you get all of it.
Right.
If you succeed, you get half. In this game, I've decided everybody gets the same amount if they succeed. So,
and then one person, the best, gets the momentum die.
Right. Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. How are we feeling about that rule?
It's good. It's interesting. I'm curious to see how that momentum die kind of builds up as we go along.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't say explicitly that if you suffer, you only get one, but I feel like I should. All right. But this means, Harry, you are up. What is this? What is hacking into this guy's stuff look like?
Okay. Well, everybody else is doing that. You just hear the clickety clack of a laptop keys getting hit. About 5-10 minutes into the conversation or whatever like that, Greg will probably go, 23 skidoo, as he holds his hands up or whatever. It's like, yep, there goes his encryption. I've got all of his emails, and whoop, hey, look at that. I just sent his entire browser history to his wife and his kids. So I just kind of nod over to Jackson, and I say, I've got all of his financials and everything like that. So if this guy's dirty, we've got the info.
Yeah, and in fact, I think what you find is some financial improprieties too, that maybe he was stealing money from his own company and funneling it to this People's Justice thing, or he was maybe getting some kind of kickbacks.
Yeah. I was gonna say, he's taking kickbacks from everybody. I don't think the company actually even knows he's working with these People's Justice fellows.
All right.
So he's out on a really shaky limb, and I think that should help Jackson to bring it home.
Great. Jackson, what does your conversation with him look like?
Yeah, well, that's kind of hit it out over the fences. Now I just got to run around the bases here, I guess. So I think that Jackson says, Ewan, should we go to the New York Times first? Washington Post? Do you want to make the decision? Or do you just, because while he has sent browser histories, he has not sent this financial information to anyone important. And it sounds like we could even send it to the board of your company, but why don't you just tell us what's going on here?
I kind of want him to not completely fold because we still have a few contests left, and this is a very convenient bad guy for us. So I think the success of the contest is not so much that he is defeated, but that you have all of this information now. And I think you get, since you were successful, since Jackson was successful, there's more information that you're getting out of him through this interrogation. And I wonder if it is some sense of his personal motivation, right? If this is not something that he's doing on behalf of his biopharma company, that maybe there's something here that's just personal for him. And Shane, was it you who said we want to bring in some conspiracy theories? So maybe this guy is like wrapped up in some kind of conspiracy theory or obsessed with a certain conspiracy and is using people's justice to kind of as a tool, essentially, to kind of unravel that or prove his theory or something like that. So maybe that's what Jackson gets out of him, and he starts ranting about this conspiracy theory, whether it is maybe he's got some bonkers ideas as to what caused climate change. Forgive me, I'm speaking in vague tone, like I don't know where my boundaries are in terms of what to call a conspiracy theory or not. But I think we can all agree that maybe he's got some ridiculous ideas about what's caused climate change. And that's sort of what's feeding this connection with the people's justice. Do we feel okay about that? But at the same time, because he's so wrapped himself in this conspiracy theory, all of your threats are kind of just like washing off of him. Like he doesn't even care that his wife knows about his browser history or that you're going to contact the Washington Post or what have you. Does that sound fair? All right. So I think how do we all feel about that contest? I think that went okay.
I would say to give Jackson the role of best for that one, since he kind of started it up. So he had tied role. So go to him.
No, I mean, wait. Go ahead, Mark.
No, yeah, there is a solution, right? A game solution for this.
Maybe. I don't remember what it is.
Can't remember either.
What is it?
I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't know.
I was just going to award you both the 15 duty.
Yeah.
And both take the momentum.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the solution. Actually, that's the correct one. It's got to be.
Clearly.
All right. So 15.
Yeah, that was what the difficulty score was. You both beat the difficulty.
Now, since Harry has taken a D6, he's also now going to take a D8, right?
Yeah, Mark, you both mark your momentum tracks
separately. So I start with a D6.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Cool.
Yeah, let me see if I've got the Aegon manual. Here we go. Oh no. To break a tie, each hero rolls their name die until a clear winner is established. Well, that sucks. Well, seeing as how since we've awarded these points, we are going to just leave it as is for now. Harry, I'm managing your character keeper for you if that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I got like multiple screens open. Yeah.
No worries. You arrive. So I'm going to maybe narrate how we arrive at the village, and then we'll take our break. Sound okay? Assuming Oscar was driving, since you all were clearly very busy with with this stuff. I think it's dusk by the time you get to the village. Sadly, the only thing I can really picture are kind of rundown homes there, but the place is in some ways kind of thriving, and it's clear that the activists, I'm trying to, if I gave them a name. No, but the people involved with the Green Wall project are, although they're being threatened by People's Justice, that in some ways they're thriving, and that their work has attracted a lot of attention and business. And so the town, even though it's run down, it's dusty, it's sort of what you might picture an African village on the edge of the Sahara looks like. It's quite bustling and quite active, and no one looks, there's not a clear evidence of poverty here, that in fact the Green Wall project is working on multiple levels. But you do see, say, UN presence, right? So there's like some tents that have UN emblazoned on them. You see other kind of signs of international participation here, and that's clearly what is troubling the People's Justice folks. Let's maybe paint the scene quickly. Shane, there's maybe like a big central plaza area. What do you imagine is happening in this big central plaza?
I imagine there's a market there, so lots of textiles, food stalls, things like that, kids running around playing.
Yeah, I think that's great. And maybe there's some music going. I don't know if it's live music or they just have like just music piped through some speakers, and it's not Western, but it's maybe kind of got some Western influences of indigenous music. That's fantastic. And Harry, I think there are subtle signs of People's Justice. Like they're not overt, but you see kind of hints of them. What's one of the hints that you see of People's Justice presence here?
I would think that there might be signs of maybe a previous like small raid or something. Maybe like one of the huts on the edge is like burnt out or whatever, and it looks like there's probably people repairing it and trying to get it back to normal usage. Okay. But
yeah, I like that. And Mark, how can you tell that, what are some of the evidence that you see of the Green Wall project here? What are some of the supplies or vehicles or things that are accoutrements that are around that speak to this project?
Yeah, so I think that there are a lot of Westerners who are here. They look out of place. Some of them look like they're more acclimated. Some of them look like they're fresher, but also not used to the circumstances in which they're living. There are some water tanker. There's a water tanker truck, and there are some different trucks that are equipped with digging equipment, and also some small live trees that are in the truck bed that they're getting ready to move out with.
I'm going to go around one more time because I'm enjoying this. Shane, what is Kara's inclination in terms of where you all will kind of make camp or bed down, or like how's Kara gonna looking for a place to make your kind of headquarters while you're
here? I think she's already like doing a lap of the village, trying to establish, like what's the most secure location, where's a good place to set up. She doesn't have a specific plan, but she's checking all the angles already.
Got it. And Harry, let me see, what can I ask you? I think what is the state of, or what does Greg notice in terms of the state of infrastructure here, specifically like communications infrastructure? Is there?
I would kind of see like there's like one the NATO tent will most likely have a shortwave radio tower or something like that. Something that looks like somebody's got a ham radio up and working over there. And then you might see it's not really communication stuff, but a hut or two, or a building or two will have like small satellite dishes, like they're at least trying to get some TV to the locals and stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not a lot though.
And fantastic. That was great. And Jackson, I think you are approached by a journalist. She recognizes one of you and immediately knows that you are the crew of the Morrigan. We won't do a conversation until we get back from break, but what organization does she work for? What news organization?
It's so tempting to make it something like
Obvious.
Yeah, or specifically to make it something like one of these new cable news networks that have popped up in the past couple of years. But she's from Reuters.
Yeah,
she's from Vice. No, that's perfect. She's from Vice. Awesome. I love that.
That makes actually a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the demographic for Vice. I've never actually watched it, but like someone who's hip enough to receize the eco activists.
Yeah.
I love that. So does she have does she have her own camera crew, or does she have her own camera? Does she have a crew with her? What do you think? Does she have a cameraman, camera operator?
Person? Yeah, it's her and two other people, I think. And they are one of them is like the overseer or
producer,
fixer.
Oh, the fixer, yeah. The local contact.
Yeah. And then the other person is a camera person, a camera and recording, and they handle all the technical side, most of the technical side, I guess.
And she immediately, which one of you do you think she recognizes?
My immediate thought is that Kara probably has had the highest profile because of her time as a corporate attorney. Shane, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, that seems right. I'm worried that the logical thing for Kara to do to a journalist is just say no comment to anything that she asks, which exactly. I will stall the game a little bit.
How about you talk to my fist? Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, if Matt were here, I would say, Oscar, I feel like was also sort of very high profile before he joined. But yeah, I think she walks over to you, Jackson, and is like, what's Kara Rossi doing here? And then we cut to commercial. So I've got 5 past the hour. So we will reconvene in 10. So I'll see you at 15 past. Sound good? Thanks, friends. So we had talked about trying to do 2 missions. And after today, do we have 3 more sessions, or do we have 3 more sessions? Fascinating. All right, then I'm not going to worry about it. So I was thinking maybe 2 more contests today, just seeing how the timing goes. I'd really like Matthew to be here for the final contest in this one. So we'll save the final contest for next week, and then we'll start the next mission next week. Does that sound all right, everyone? All right. Cool. So I believe Jackson was about to speak to the Vice journalist, and whose name I totally did not look up during the break and should have. So hang on. She approaches Jackson and says, "What's Kara Rossi doing here?" And Jackson says,
I'm sorry, who are you?
she says, "I'm Chloe Woods from Vice."
I see. You'd have to ask Kara herself, I guess. So we're here as observers.
Well, she seems to be on the move, and you're here with her. So
Yes,
why is the crew of the Morgan here?
we're impartial observers.
I see. And you are?
I'm Jackson Rodriguez. And then I spell my name.
It's autocorrect. I got it. Are you anticipating any trouble here?
Has there been any trouble here?
We're in Eritrea. I mean, there's always it's the Sahara Desert. It's Western Africa. Of course there's trouble, and we're in the middle of a climate crisis.
Okay. So yeah, I guess we're expecting trouble.
Yeah, but sure, I mean, the UN is behind all of this green wall stuff. Surely they're not going to. This is not going to be a climate issue.
I think everything's a climate issue now.
Oh, right. I should have known. You're one of those. Can I quote you on that?
Yes.
I don't know what journalists do.
Hey, Kara, you have a fan.
Kara Rossi. My name is Chloe Woods. I'm from Vice. I'm just covering all the work that the Green Wall folks are doing. What brings you and the crew of the Morgan here?
Same thing as you.
Yeah, but come on. I'm here to report the news. I'm here to tell the world what's going on. You are here to punch someone, so to speak.
We're here in defense of the Earth.
Yeah, but look, I mean, we've got the UN, we've got all kinds. What could possibly go wrong?
So I don't know the facts that she would say, but Kara reels off this set of facts about the history of the UN
Perfect.
and how completely ineffective it's been in combating climate change and other environmental destruction.
Perfect. Yes, that sounds great. Also, what did you all do with Fartface? Ewan Chambers.
I think he's just in the van with the red shirts. He's tied up, or
okay, right. You still have some red shirts. Yeah. Okay.
That was a question that Chloe was asking. I was like, how did she find out?
All right. So he is secure. Chloe's like, I think they're throwing a big party in the marketplace tonight. Maybe I'll see you all there.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. It's great to meet you, Chloe.
Can I quote you on that?
I stepped on Harry. Sorry.
I was just gonna follow up to her as she's starting to walk off and say, "Hey, don't you want to ask about me? I'm the money guy."
You're the money guy.
Yeah, I'm the one who funds the Morgan. My name's Ewan Chambers. EWANCHAMBERS. Here's my LinkedIn address.
Do you think I was born yesterday?
Well, you kind of look like it, yeah.
I've been following the Crew of the Morgan for years, since you all started it, since Walsh Buchanan started this whole outfit. I've got all your pictures up on a murder board on my laptop.
Yes, and I just gave you a lead on a story. You might want to follow it up. And then I walk away.
I don't think she has to call it a murder board. That's
her conspiracy board.
yes.
It's even better. What are you all going to do? Where are you all going to hang out? What are you going to do while you're here? Presuming you and Chambers is secured with the red shirts. Let me ask Shane, why don't you go first? Yeah. What's Kara doing?
Well, I mean, the first thing Kara's going to do is to ask Greg to like look into the journalist's reporting, like see if she's someone we could trust, like what's her angle on
nice.
things, like try and get some of that sort of intel. And then I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess that we should try and make contact with the Green Wall Project, or is it more that we want to be at arm's length from them and just ready to defend them?
My thought was also to try to make contact with some of the Green Wall Project personnel. So I don't know. I think there's value in making contact with them and kind of finding out what their experience has been.
I think, okay.
Well, yeah, I got that new satellite phone, so I'm in heaven as soon as Kara gives me the go ahead to start digging into the journalists. So I'll probably find a bit of shade, good angle to the sky with this phone, and then just start tapping away. He's forgetting the adrenaline surge that happened earlier in the day, and he's getting back to normal.
He's calmed down. That's great. There is a building right off the marketplace that's got kind of a enormous tree painted on the side of it. It's got Green Wall spelled out in many different languages, as if they're sort of fruits on the tree, just to lean right into that. And so that's clearly the headquarters. Is it that Kara and Jackson are going to go check out the Green Wall headquarters?
Yeah, I'm going to let Jackson do the talking.
Oh, you don't want that. Shane, come on, man.
Have you seen me try and talk to someone?
You did just fine there a moment ago. That was great.
I don't think I can threaten to shoot the Green Wall.
All right, let's go talk.
There's a handful of folks inside, kind of tapping away at old computers. Someone's on a cell phone, and she's sort of speaking in local language into it. She seems to be getting somewhat agitated at the person that she is speaking to. What do you guys do?
You're muted.
Yeah, trying to eavesdrop on that conversation a bit, I think.
She's speaking a language you don't understand.
I ask Kara, do you understand this? Okay.
You guys, you two are Americans. There's no way you speak any language.
Yeah, it's pretty much the case. You nailed it.
She hangs up and she says, "Who are you two?"
I'll introduce myself. I'm Carla Rossi. This is Jackson Rodriguez. We're interested in your project and would like to hear about the work that you've been doing.
She introduces herself as Najuma, and she says, "I know you. You from Logan's outfit, the Morgan."
Yeah, I know it. That's right.
Yeah.
We don't need your brand of activism here.
Well, I understand. We know that you're getting things done here, and that's excellent. But we understand that you've been interfered with as well, and we want to see what we can do to help make sure that doesn't happen any more than it has to.
People's justice has been a problem, yes, but I was just speaking with them, and they have indicated that they're going to stay away from our work from now on.
And you trust them to follow through on that?
What can I do but trust them?
Okay.
You seemed pretty agitated on the phone just now.
I needed them to understand how passionate we are about this work and how it is, though there's a lot of white people money in it, that we are still doing this by Africans for Africa.
I mean,
are you?
You can do your thing. That's fine. We're gonna just be around for a bit, and we're just here. We're just observing.
My experience is people who make trouble attract other people who make trouble. So maybe stay away. I feel a contest coming on. I feel a contest. I feel like we are having a battle of wills. You guys want to? Shall we roll this as a contest?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the challenge here is your intent to convince Najuma that there's a reason for you to stay? Is your intent to I don't know, insert yourself more fully into the operation here? What is it that you want to get out of it? Shane, do you have any ideas?
I mean, I guess I want to get her to trust us, but I don't know if that. Yeah, okay. I guess that's about it.
Harry, I know you're kind of off playing with your new toys, but I feel like there's a role that you are playing in all of this. What do you think that is?
Do I see did I hear any of the conversation, or did I just see them having trouble, or can I tell by body language that it's not going well? Or
yeah, maybe they've stepped outside the building to have this conversation. So if you've stayed back towards the van while you're playing with your new technology toys, you can kind of see them from afar. Is there some kind of information that you're gathering that might help their cause?
Is Chloe Woods on the up and up, or from my little bit of?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So I mean, maybe you're researching that angle.
Yeah. See if she's actually here to help, or just for
clicks.
For clicks. Yeah.
Not cynical about journalism at all. Okay. And Mark, what's Jackson's intent here?
Yeah, I think I also want to win this person over.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, what was her name?
Najuma. Sorry, let me put that in the chat. It's a Swahili name, and I think Swahili is Western Africa. Though it looks like it's more Eastern. So maybe she moved to Western Africa.
Yeah.
From East Africa.
So I agree. I think I want to, I think this is what also Shane was trying to do, which was try to convince her that we're here to be helpful as help is needed. Right.
That the crew of the Morgan doesn't always go in with guns a-blazing, that there's a wide variety of ways that you can offer support. All right. So we'll roll this as a contest. I'll ask you the same question. Do your complications get in the way at all? Remember, if yes, you get some extra points. but I get to roll an extra die. So do you want, the way we did it before is I rolled the basic dice first and then you all decided. Did you like that? Or do you all want to decide about complications now?
I'm happy to decide now. I don't think mine are involved this time.
Same for Shane?
Yeah.
Harry, what do you think?
Yeah, my complication is probably not going to have any part on this one.
Okay.
But I do like the idea of asking us before you set up the roles and stuff. I think that's a better way to go.
Okay. I'm going to give her, well, I'm just going to do the same thing I did for the other person. Because that seems only fair. Yeah. So 2d10 and a d8. Not too bad. Okay, so I rolled my highest was an 8. So that makes the difficulty score 13. So, Shane, you're up. What, to build your dice pool, you get your D6 for security. You're trying to beat a 13. Does justice play a role here?
Yeah, I think, she's, all those people, somebody got killed on our way here. All those people, their lives are at risk because they sort of wandered the desert to try and get back to somewhere safe. If we did all that for nothing, then it's, fundamentally unjust.
Yep. And I forgot to mention, but I think we're doing another politics and communication. I don't generally like trying to do two contests with the same domain, but this seems unavoidable. So that's another D6 for you. So you're at 3D6. Shane, do you want to spend a strength to add a D4?
Yeah, I think I'll add the other law strength.
Okay.
Just a skilled arguer.
Yep. And then you can choose to spend a bond.
And the bond gets me a D6, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, I think I'll spend one of my bonds with Oscar because I'm annoyed that he's not around to help out more with this.
I keep checking the participants to make sure I didn't miss them.
I mean, in character, not out of character.
Understood.
It's fine that Matthew's not here.
Understood. And then last choice you can make, or actually two more things. One is, do you want to spend a stress to add a D8? And actually, do you have any fictional positioning that would give you an advantage here?
Definitely don't see that I have any fictional positioning. I'm quite tempted to just run Kara headlong towards breakdown, or I'm not quite sure what happens when you mark all of your stress. But I think she is quite stressed in this moment. Like, she's worried that they've come all this way for nothing.
Right.
So yeah, I think I will mark stress.
Just to be turned away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
sorry, that was a D6 as well for stress.
D8.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. What it does is it lets you add another domain die. And so my assumption is that you want to add the domain that's a D8. We should have a sidebar at some point about stress, because I've played it one way, but I've heard people play it another way. So, all right. So I'm counting, guess what? 46, a D8 and a D4. So, all right, Harry, you are up.
Okay, so communications would be D6. My value, I don't think is going to come into play. Revenge,
I think that's fair.
I don't think it's going to not do anything. Politics and communication is this D6. And I mark a stress, might as well. And that's a D8.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and spend my second background in IT guy, representing digging into Chloe's bona fides, I guess.
Yep.
And that is a D4.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think any of my bonds are really going to come into play here. But for assets fictional positioning, since I just got that sap bone? Will the sap bone help?
Sure. Yeah, I like it.
And what would that be?
I think a D8.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got 2d6, 2d8, and a d4.
That's what I got. You've got momentum to spend. Do you want to spend your momentum, or you want to hold on to that?
I want to save the momentum for the quote unquote boss fight.
Yeah,
the big finale.
Yep. Now, by using that sat phone, we're basically marking that. So
okay,
you can't use it again in this contest.
Okay.
Or in this mission.
Okay.
All right, great. And Mark, you're up.
I'll take a D6 for science and D6 for natural world, because we're kind of, I'm communicating with her about the value in the work that they are doing.
Yeah, I like it.
So that's those two. Politics and communication is a D6. I cannot find a strength that I really want to apply. That's fine. I'll roll my momentum die, which is another D6. So I'll mark that. Do I have a bond that I want to spend? That makes sense. Let's see. I think, Shane, do you feel like Kara and Jackson are approaching from the same vantage point, so that spending the bond would make sense? Or do you think we're like coming in from different points?
I think we're much more on the same page than when we were good cop, bad cop before.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to spend that. I'm going to take the stress. So that's another D6 and a D8, I think. So that's 5D6 and a D8.
Yeah.
Okay.
You decided no strengths this time.
Right. No strengths.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. All righty. Does anyone want to make any adjustments to their pools? If not, why don't we do this a little more slowly, just so my old brain can keep up. So Shane, why don't you roll first? All right, I'm seeing that D8 rolled a 7, and one of the D6s rolled a 6, and your D4 rolled a 4. So you rolled a 17. Fantastic. I feel good that you got a good roll. Harry, you're up. I see 2 5s and a 1. So that's 11. That's not good enough. And Mark.
Okay.
Holy moly. I see a 7 and a 6, which is good enough.
Oh.
So Shane rolled best. So you will go last. So actually, Harry will go first. Harry did not succeed, so Harry will describe it from a suffering perspective. And then Mark and Shane, you both succeeded. So Harry, you can mark 1 duty. And how does this go for you? What does this look like?
As they're trying to convince her of our good intentions, you'll just hear me exclaiming loudly, a couple curse words, throwing it left and right, and after about 2 minutes or so, he picks up his head, looks at everybody, he's like, she's clean.
Nice. Yeah, I think if you had succeeded, I might have given Greg some insight into picking up some sense that People's Justice was staging some kind of that's going to be our next contest, is People's Justice going to do some kind of attack. But at this stage, you did not get a heads up. So Mark, you're up. What does this look like in talking to Najuma and kind of earning her trust?
So I think Jackson is taking a kind of a formal approach and trying to lay out all the points about the good work that they're doing. It can't be interfered with. the People's Justice are a rogue entity. The UN is there to protect, but they can't be depended upon when the chips really start to fall. I don't know if that's a thing that people actually say, but then I reference what Kara had said about the history of the UN and their failures in the past 100 years, and so on and so forth. And it seems like I'm starting to get to her, but she remains unturned. I can't close the deal.
Yeah, and I almost feel like you've got her attention. And I liked what you said earlier about the natural, like bringing the natural world into it. Like you're sort of politically aligned along that. Like you both have that in common. And at the same time, she doesn't feel like she's listening now and primed for Kara to kind of bring it home. So Shane, what do you think does the trick here?
Yeah, so Kara tells the story of look, nobody wants to step on your toes. We respect, you're local here. You've been on the ground, but tells this story about, back many years ago when she was representing some Indigenous people in South America in a court proceeding, and mercenaries hired by the evil logging corporation massacred the whole village, and just try and get across to her that this is a real danger. We're not going to cause trouble, but we're going to be here if trouble is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think sort of bringing it home and making it very real for her convinces her that of all the kind of non-Indigenous folks here, that maybe she can count on you the most. I think also I have this idea that she and Logan have some kind of history. And so, she sort of refers to him as that old scoundrel and stuff like that. And that her happier memories of her relationship with Logan I think in seeing you two talking, she is reminded of that old Logan who was really committed to the cause. She says, I think she admits to you that the conversation with the People's Justice folks was not as smooth as she let on, and that she had hoped to convince them to hold off, even though tonight's celebration, they're excited to use tonight's celebration as a demonstration of power, and that they cut her off before they kind of actually committed. So she admits to you that she's somewhat uneasy about what's going to happen tonight. So my inclination is I'm going to kind of set up tonight's final contest, and we'll maybe take another 5-minute break, and then come back and resolve that. Does that sound okay to you all? And I'm open to some ideas here, but I think we've had a couple of interpersonal contests. So my inclination is that the People's Justice sets fire to some of the materials for the Green Wall. And so there's a little bit of a combat if we need it, but also kind of a rescue operation type thing, trying to save some of the Green Wall folks from the fire, or save some of the equipment from the fire. Does that sound, would you all be okay with that? Okay. Yeah, I think the celebration in the marketplace is kind of picking up. Music is getting louder. People are getting really excited. There's this sort of almost idyllic kind of feeling to it, where it's like people from all over the world are here celebrating, a major milestone in this project. They've planted 1 million trees. They're super jazzed about that. And tomorrow they're kind of launching the next phase of the project. So there's just a lot of kind of positive feeling in the air. Like when people come together, there's a lot they can do. But I imagine at least the three of you, as well as Oscar, are all on your toes, and you sense that you see some suspicious looking folks around who are taking note of where the UN folks are. They're kind of securing the communications rig that Greg saw. So you see kind of some movement. And it's not long before the festivities are interrupted by an enormous explosion. And both the Green Wall headquarters, as well as kind of all the trucks and equipment that you saw, is kind of starting to go up in flames. People are starting to scatter. There's plenty of like non-official people around who are potentially going to be injured, things like, or who are getting injured by these explosions, by the fires, and things like that. So let's go down the row and say what each of you are doing in this contest. Shane, can you tell us what Kara is up to?
Yeah, I mean, when she sees that people are in danger, she's just going to start like running and trying to like help people away from the explosions.
Okay. So get folks away from danger, basically.
Yeah, like maybe a combination of like dragging people, but also trying to like yell some instructions, like, you know, direct people to help as much as possible with evacuating the area. Some
crowd control. Great. Love it. Harry, what's Greg going to do in all this?
So I guess he might be keeping an eye out if anybody's going to be using this as a diversion to try and, you know, maybe grab Najuma or anybody else. If are any of the suspicious people actually doing anything besides just making it go up, or just try to keep an eye out for that and try and stop it if they're trying to grab anybody.
Okay. So you're going to focus on kind of high priority targets.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. That's great. And Mark, tell me about Jackson.
I think that Jackson is going to move toward the main green wall project kind of HQ tents or buildings, and try to do what he can to either, if it's engulfed, to try to help in putting out the fire.
Okay.
And if it's not, then getting inside and getting out important, whatever is important in there.
Okay, fantastic. All right, we're going to pause there. I've got 48 past the hour. So just to reconvene in 5, let's make it easier and just reconvene at 5 to the hour. Sound okay? 7 minutes. All right, great. Scene 7. I don't usually do a second break because usually we're like trying to wrap stuff up, but I kind of like, everyone okay with that second break? Yeah, nice little second break. All right, so now we have to do the hard work of building a dice pool. All right, oh wait, I need to roll first. I'm asking, does anyone want to activate any of their complications before I roll? Get some bonus points out of the deal.
I'm tempted, but I don't want to make make it a little bit harder for the people to actually succeed, though. Because you said there's children, and if any of them are in danger, it could trigger my heartbroken thing with the things with my daughter.
I think we've got actually a line on harm to children. So I think let's say that the families are safely in bed.
Okay.
It's too late. You can't let the kids stay up so late, even if we're celebrating great victories. They're just going to be grumpy tomorrow, and you don't want that. So
sorry, I forgot about that.
Oh no, that's quite all right. I appreciate the reminder. So, oh yeah, guys, friends, I forgot to give out duty last time. Thank you for the reminder. Mark, duty on the last contest was 13 for Shane and for Mark. And Shane, yeah, you get to mark a momentum. Thank you for the reminder. All right, back to dice pools. Harry, you were thinking about activating your complication? No,
it doesn't go well with the safety tools, so it's all good.
Okay.
Just go normal.
And this is going to be a support and logistics domain. Everyone okay with that? All right, because we are trying to save people. And the fire is going to be this. Oh my gosh, I rolled a 10 on the D10, friends. So this is a 15 again. Didn't even need to activate any complications. All right, Shane, we are building a dice pool.
Right.
Security.
So one for security, justice. Obviously, it would be a terrible injustice for any more people to be hurt here. And we said support and logistics, right?
Yep, that's 3d6.
And will I spend a strength? Well, I guess I'd better if I want to stop this fire. So I'm going to spend tough. That makes sense to me. Like she's running around. She's
totally
pretty active right now. Oh, sorry, that's a D4, isn't it?
Yep.
And then I'm not sure about momentum.
You know, hold on to that.
It's hard to decide. I think I will hold on to my momentum, but I'll spend a bond. Again with Oscar, because I feel like he should be right here helping. And
he's probably flirting with someone right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Like whenever there's a party on, you can never rely on it. And I will mark stress as well because she's definitely like freaking out a bit at this situation.
That gives you a D8.
Yeah.
Any fictional positioning that you feel like gives you an advantage? I mean, the only thing I might say is that Najuma's giving you kind of a heads up that something was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Kara would definitely have been like on the lookout for trouble, like sort of keeping her eye on points of possible danger. So maybe a little bit of recon as an advantage.
Yeah, I'll give you a D8 for that one. How's that sound?
Awesome.
Harry, let's do Greg.
Okay, let's hear. So it's a D6 for communication. Revenge. If the People's Justice people are actually here, and and I can actually get to one of them, would revenge be it? Me?
Oh yeah,
taking
I
one
think
out?
I think you feel angry that the world is in this kind of place. So yeah.
Okay, and then support and logistics. I actually have an 8 for that one.
Yep.
Let's see here. For strength, I'm thinking about tapping a paintball player. The one thing you do in paintball is cardio. So he's running around. That's about the only thing he gets from that, I think. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Okay, so a D4 for that. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna spend my second bond with Kara, just for the fact that I'm gonna be watching her back because she's a high value target as well. That would be a D6, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I've got a D8, 3D6, and a D4.
Okay, and I don't think I have any fictional positioning or anything like that I can see.
Yeah, I think if you had succeeded in that last contest,
yeah,
you would have had some more insight. But
okay, so
right.
Yeah,
good.
Yep.
Mark, you're up.
So I'll take D6 science, D6 natural world, and then it's support and logistics. D6 there. I'm going to take lab researcher because there was a bad lab fire actually 20 years ago. So he understands fire on a different level.
Can I tell you for my work, I once researched safety habits in chemistry labs. Yes. And they are it is terrible.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. It is so. I mean, unless you're in commercial chemistry, because you can get sued or they can shut you down. But in academic labs, it's terrible. Yeah. So
I believe it.
Yeah.
So we're going to tap that. I'm not going to tap any of those things. No assets. I'm going to spend a bond with Greg. Well, are we in the same area generally, I guess?
I mean, it's all sort of in the marketplace. I had sort of in my imagination had put kind of like all the Greenwall stuff kind of adjacent to the market.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. So I'm going to spend a bond with Greg with the idea that I know that he is off taking care of business, so I don't have to watch over anyone that he's taking care of.
Great.
So that's a name die, I guess, essentially is what it is, right? Or
yep. Another D6, yeah.
D6. So I'm counting 46 and a D4. Oh, and a D8.
Are you marking stress for that D8?
Yes. I am right now.
And in a sense, you've got the same fictional positioning that Kara does. You were given a heads up by Najuma to be kind of alert, like this is not a done deal that People's Justice is going to stay away. So you were sort of already on alert. So that gets you another D8.
Okay.
4D6, a 2D8, and a D4.
Okay.
It's hard to hold up all my fingers like that.
All right. I don't know how you manage that. All right.
So Shane, do you want to hit roll? Ooh, no. Well, I'm counting 12.
Target is 15. Is that right, Dan?
That's right.
Okay.
Harry, do you want to roll? Ooh, I'm also counting a 12. Mark? Uh,
It's a
12,
15.
15. Squeaked it out. All right. Why don't we go in character keeper order? So Shane, you get a mark of duty, or you get 1 point of duty. And why don't you tell us what Kara's doing here now that she did not quite pull it off?
Yeah, so I guess I just want to check, like, what does that mean in terms of the mechanics? Like, so she doesn't succeed in evacuating anyone, she doesn't succeed as much as she wanted, or we did sort of succeed overall, like,
Yeah, I mean,
or does it not tell us anything about success?
it doesn't really tell us anything about success. So Aegon calls it suffering. So something happened. Maybe it was good, but there was some negative impact.
Okay.
To you. So
Yeah.
And right now I'm holding back any kind of mechanical negative impacts. So let's just make it fictional negative impact.
Yeah. So she's like running around. She does like a pretty good job getting people away from the fire. Definitely there are people who would have been hurt badly if not for her intervention. But then there's unexpectedly a second explosion rips through the building and she's sort of thrown,
there you go,
hurt pretty bad.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, that's not great, but that is appropriate. Yes. Harry, what is Greg look like in all this?
I'm going to say he sees that Kara's getting things done. He sees that nobody's made a try on Najuma, but I was wondering, could be represented as during this, he sees them grab Ewan Chambers, and I try to stop them, and I get my butt kicked as they recapture the corporate guy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that kind of gives us something interesting to play with in the final contest too. Perfect. Fantastic. Thank you. And Mark, tell us about Jackson's success here.
So Jackson was moving toward the Green Wall Project kind of main HQ. And I think that he finds some fire suppressants that are stored just inside the area. He grabs those and manages to put out the fire that's affecting that specific building / tent.
Okay.
Saving some of the important work that's there.
What specifically is there? Sort of records? Is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was trying to decide how important because everything's probably being uploaded or backed up to the cloud. So maybe it is. Trying to think of something kind of sciencey that's related to trees. It's it's the store where they keep this tree growth accelerant that has been developed by an unknown entity. I don't know if it was developed by Ewan Chambers company or not, but anyway, manages to keep that from overheating and being destroyed.
Yeah. My brain is now weaving together some kind of weird conspiracy where Chambers provided this tree growth formula, but embedded in it are certain seeds that will also grow of maybe some kind of mutant plants. I don't know. That was as far as my brain got.
I like it.
So you get 15 duty points, and you get to mark a momentum. So it looks like you are up to a D8 there. I think
I spent my D6 that I had.
Oh yeah, so you just marked. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
So
you just marked the D6. Yep. Yeah. I kind of like how that works. I think in the aftermath of all of this, there's actually I was trying to decide if the People's Justice show up or not. I think they do. So I think what's going to happen is um, through your efforts, despite like some of the setbacks that you all had, that it's through your leadership that people were able to sort of quickly organize into the rescue effort to minimize additional casualties. But the property damage was pretty severe, such that a lot of the work or the upcoming work that Greenwall was going to do is now been disrupted, right? There's like all the trees that they were about to plant and things like that are not in good shape. The trucks and the other equipment that they use is also damaged beyond repair. And not only that, Chambers has been kidnapped, removed, rescued. It's not clear what's happened. I think, you know what I'm also going to say is there's no sign of Chloe Woods. So she maybe has also been kidnapped by people's or absconded with by People's Justice, potentially. And I'm trying to think how this scene and how this episode ends. And I think it ends with the leader of People's Justice showing up. Their name is Silver Fist. Oh no, their name is Copper Knife. That's right. Copper Knife shows up and is standing on kind of one of the burned out vehicles there with a megaphone and saying, basically, I think kind of elaborating on how they do not want Western influence, Western money, Western power corrupting the area, and that if that these attacks will continue so long as the Green Wall is continuing its efforts. And I think we will leave it there. I guess maybe let's just go around the table once. Shane, what's Kara's immediate reaction to all of this?
Like she's in quite a lot of pain. She's hurt pretty bad. She's worried that Najuma was right and that they're making everything worse. She's definitely having a very low moment right now.
Is her instinct to leave? Is her instinct to pursue People's Justice? Is her instinct to maybe fortify? What is like her gut telling her?
I mean, she has some conflict, but her instinct is going to be to go after them because she told you and Chambers that she would shoot him if anything happened, and she wants to deliver on that promise.
That's great. Harry, tell us about Greg. What's his state of mind right now?
He's probably getting back up after the tussle when they grabbed Ewan, and he's probably a little bit bloodied, holding his shoulder as he's walking back into camp, just trying to find everybody else. And he's got a dazed look on his face. He might have a concussion or something along those lines. And he's just in complete confusion right now.
Got it. And what's his instinct? Is he inclined to kind of pursue? Does he want to retreat? Does he want to stay back and fortify? Does he want to attack them another way?
I think he's taking the lead from Kara, and if you got to go after these people, so get on her 6 and follow her.
Got it. And Mark, tell us about where Jackson is at the moment.
Yeah, so I think Jackson has stumbled out of this HQ and is covered in soot. He's got some minor burns, and he sees Copper Knife making the announcement, and he looks dismayed and bewildered, and sees Kara and Greg there as well, and Oscar who apparently is just appearing in the camp.
Yeah, completely unmussed. Yeah,
He looks great,
so
frankly.
good. It's like a little smudge of dust. Like, that's it. Yeah.
And Jackson's face kind of he sees his compatriots, and his look of dismay kind of like just slowly turns into this grim, set jaw of determination, thinking about going after people's justice.
Do you have any ideas as to sort of what Chambers is up to with these special plants, whether they're plants or plant growth or this conspiracy theory? Do you have any ideas as to like what is it that you've holding that's his that might be valuable?
Yeah, so I think that there is something strange about the plant growth accelerant, and I think that he thinks he's going to have to research it a little bit to get a little bit more of a handle on just what it does. I'm trying to think of a good kind of conspiracy theory related thing. And if anyone has one, Greg and Shane, feel free, just blast it out there.
We've got a week. That'll be our homework.
We'll come up with something.
I know it'll come to me in the shower. So. That was great, friends. Thank you for that. Can we do a quick stars and wishes before we wrap this evening? Actually, Mark, let me start with you.
Yes, I think it was fantastic play from everyone tonight. Greg, I really like the way that you're embodying Greg's very like tech-minded approach to everything. That's like foremost in his mind as he goes through things. And Dan, I think you've done a great job with this game. I like the way that it kind of is coming together. I really am liking the momentum dice. Now I'm going to try to build up some momentum dice after I've kind of just spent that one to feel out the system. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen when I run out of stress and then mark a fate. And Shane, Kara's awesome. It's like if she could talk you to death, she can get her advantage through talking to you or through punching and shooting, and it's a good combination. I love it. So thanks, folks.
Any wishes for next time?
I kind of want to see more of the same stuff that we experienced tonight. I think it was interesting. I think it was a good I think there were good challenges. I mean, we had a couple of 15 challenge ratings that we had to overcome. That was difficult. I am interested to have a combat in that next, hopefully in that next session. So we get to see those combat elements come into play.
Got it. That's great. Thanks. Harry.
Stars. Fantastic stars for everybody. Everybody's done a great job. Shane playing Kara, I'm liking seeing a little bit of the vulnerability of her as it's progressing. Not always seeing the big, tough, but seeing a little bit of that in there. And Mark, you get stars all around just for, man, you're up to like 60 some momentum. You've hit every which call it the thing or whatever. But your idea of talking to the interrogating the corporate guy on the way back, that was really awesome. And Dan, I'm really starting to like this game. Like I said, I'm really surprised, and it seems to be working. I'm still having a little trouble with the the fiddly bits, but I think that's just everybody at some point. And wishes, Yeah, I can't wait to see what the conspiracy theory is. I'm gonna do a little bit of internet searching to see what I can come up with.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. But, yeah, I just want to see what that the final secret is.
Me too. Cool. Thanks so much, Harry and Shane.
Yeah, I had a really good time as well. Thanks, everyone. Like one thing I'm really enjoying about the game is just that all the players are involved in all the dice rolls. Like every time the mechanics trigger, it's everyone. Like I think, often in other games it's kind of more focused on one person. I think that's a really cool thing about this. And like all the characters, I think are pretty fun. My two wishes are kind of the opposite of each other, but one wish is for like some righteous violence. Be like you said, a combat scene, or like Mark said, and the other is like I wasn't expecting Kara to develop this like conscience or whatever is happening, but I'm also interested to see that continue to play out.
I love that. I feel like, I don't know if this is just my guilt, but I feel like the violence should be against Chambers. And that, I mean, I set up this scenario where People's Justice kind of has a point. Like they're not, I mean, maybe their methods are bad, but everybody's methods are bad, right? But they sort of have a point. Like it was these Western countries who screwed up the world. Why do we want them? They're just going to screw it up some more. So I really like the idea of maybe I would, both Mark and Shane mentioned combat. And I wonder if we kind of dig into that at the beginning of the session next time, like just have this kind of very violent moment. And then the other two contests in the final battle are like trying to resolve things with People's Justice to try and find a good solution all around. And somehow work the conspiracy theory into all of that. That'll be fine. There's no problem. Shane, I love those two wishes. Thank you for those. Thanks again, friends, for playing this weird little game with me. I'm really just learning a lot about how it works and all the balance and stuff like that. So it's been super helpful, and I'm having such a good time. I love these stories. So thanks. Is it okay if I post this recording if I get around to it? Good? Okay.